Hello, welcome to Bible study. Jeremiah, chapters 46 to 51. They're mainly prophecies Jeremiah has for the other nations in the region. The nations neighbouring Israel and Judah would also be defeated by Babylon, although some of them would recover later. The message is judgment, and it's not cheerful reading. But we learn from this that God is God, not just for Israel and Judah, not just for the people who believe and choose to follow him. God is the creator of the whole world. He is a fair and unbiased judge. All these nations were accountable to him. And he calls all people everywhere to follow him. The pride and complacency of these peoples was their downfall. They trusted in gods who couldn't save them, and they trusted in their own strength. We read right back in chapter 1 of Jeremiah that God said to him, "I am giving you the words to say, and I am sending you with authority to speak to the nations for me. You will tell them of doom and destruction, and of rising and rebuilding again." In the book of Ezekiel, we are told that God doesn't take any pleasure in the death of wicked people. And Jeremiah shows us that God mourns and grieves for them. Then there is a prophecy for Babylon. The Babylonian Empire has hammered all the surrounding nations, but eventually it will be hit hard by another growing empire. It will be defeated and destroyed. This will mean hope for the exiles from Israel and Judah who have been forced to live in Babylon. They will be able to return home. The exiles in Babylon read these words of Jeremiah. Then they could see themselves as a people with a past full of guilt, a present full of suffering, but a future full of hope, full of forgiveness, full of new life. This is a bigger hope than just the return home from exile. It is looking forward to Jesus and how he offers forgiveness and life to all people who will turn to him. These prophecies of judgment and also of hope are stylized and not literal. Jeremiah's prophecy for Babylon is echoed in Revelation chapter 18, also stylized, not literal, where Babylon stands for corrupt humanity who do not worship God. There again, the message is that God's judgment of evil brings liberation, the end of suffering for those people who love God. They will have life forever with God. And this is where the words of Jeremiah end. The book ends, though, with one last chapter, describing what happened when Jeremiah's prophecies came to pass and the sad demise of Jerusalem. It was the end. But right there in the last few verses is a tiny hint that it wasn't the end. King Jehoiakim, an earlier king of Judah, had been in prison in Babylon for 37 years when the Babylonian king, successor to Nebuchadnezzar, released him, gave him a kind of state pension, and treated him almost as a friend. One day, one of his descendants would save the world. Thank you for listening. Bye.